This is Behind the Mitten with Gonzo and Amy Sherman.
Welcome to Behind the Mitten. John Gonzalez along with Amy Sherman. You're listening to Behind the Mitten, Michigan's premier travel radio show. I'm John Gonzalez.
That sounds premier.
Yeah. And you are Amy Sherman, and we're having a great time here in Gaylord, Michigan. We want to thank our sponsor. The Outdoor Studio is brought to you by our GaylordMichigan.net friends.
Thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, we are right now located in what may be the most beautiful lobby in all of Michigan, but is also a little bit chilly because it's winter, but that's part of what we're talking about this week is embracing a Michigan winter. And one way you can do that is by paying a visit to our friends at Treetops Resort in Gaylord, Michigan. And so we want to welcome Barry Owens into the Gaylord studio today to talk about all the things you can do here at beautiful Treetops Resort. Barry, welcome back to Behind the Mitten.
Gonzo and Amy, it's always a pleasure. Great to see you guys. So happy to have you here in Gaylord and of course at Treetops.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It really is. We feel great because we were among friends, but we just love that you open your doors here in the slopes to families all over Michigan and really out of the Midwest. People are coming here to Treetops.
Absolutely. And, we got a great spot. We're sitting here in Hunter's Restaurant, and we're overlooking. We can see people skiing and riding the chairlift and falling, which looks painful right now. It's a little chilly out there, but we're not quite as adept as we used to be.
Gonzo's not out there right now, Barry, okay?
there, no.
Well, one thing we were just talking about was how Treetop is kind of known as Michigan's favorite family playground. And the reason why I love that kind of tagline is because a lot of times you might think about coming up to a northern Michigan resort to go downhill skiing, but maybe not everyone in your group is a downhill skier or wants to do that kind of stuff. And that's what's great about a place like Treetops is there's so many other things that you can do here when you come up for a visit. Yeah,
it's neat. Needless to say, the big drawing card is the skiing and snowboarding, and of course the ability to make snow and act like Mother Nature for a short amount of time. But we've got all the other things, the cross country skiing and the snowshoeing, but then a lot of the activities that the families and different folks can participate in. There's tubing. We doubled it this year at the Extreme Tubing Park. It's Sidewinder and Thunderstruck. So much fun and been so well received. Sidewinder is brand new, faster, a little scarier. So for you adrenaline junkies out there, you need to try it out. We've got some food themed events with spectacular snowshoe lunch. There's a great heritage of agriculture in this region for potato farming, and still is to this day. That's pretty interesting. And we have an old potato railroad that goes through the property, so that's a great event, snowshoe event geared towards families. Of course, the featured food is potatoes. But Skiable Feast, which is an event we've been doing for a while, that falls under the umbrella skiing or snowshoeing and eating and drinking. Sleigh ride dinners, which is just what it sounds like. So there's just a lot of different things that people that can participate in. And then one that's a lot of fun, it has a limited availability, but is the dog sled rides. And if you've never done that, you can't even describe it, what these animals are capable of. And I'm not the smallest person in the world, and I've ridden with them, and I've kind of thought, oh boy, these poor dogs are just going to be like, wow. And hopped on there, and we were like gone. I mean, it was just like gone. I'm like, man, oh man, because they're not big dogs. People think they're really big, and they're like 60, 70 pounds or whatever. But that's if you look at our schedule, there's select date that is out there, and it just gets booked up immediately. So.
I think one of the things that I really love about coming up to Treetops is that focus on culinary pairings. You guys do such a great job with that, and you have such unique offerings that I feel like no other resort in Michigan is kind of going down that path that you guys are going. And as a former chef, I really appreciate that focus on food and experiences together.
Yeah, it's I appreciate it, and I'll share it with our culinary staff because oftentimes they think crazy. But it is the staff that makes those things done, because these are stations that are outside or different things like that, so they're not easy. But the staff, rises to the occasion. One neat thing we do that we didn't even mention, but is we do a guided evening snowshoe hike, which is great. You finish at a big fire and s'mores and stuff like that. And it's truly just geared towards the families to go out and enjoy that also. But, the culinary stuff is a ton of fun.
The season is you're in the middle of it. It's winter season and people are coming out. What can you address and tell parents that are maybe planning that first trip up here? Maybe they want to bring their couple kids with them. What's the process like? What kind of options do they have? Is it just like a bunch of? What is the atmosphere like here? Yeah,
sure. So, one of the first things, if you're going to plan the trip, is call up one of our reservationists and talk to them, and they'll help talk you through a lot of the things. A lot of our things are available to be booked online, lift tickets and rentals and all the activities we just mentioned, and they'll encourage you to do that, but they can help you do it also. For kids that you want to get them out skiing and snowboarding, it is crazy. There's kids that start at 3 and 4 years old, and they're like unflappable, and they're so small, they fall down and they don't fall very far, so they get right back up. The magic carpet that we have is excellent because it can get people up the hill. Especially young kids when they're going through lessons, because they're not strong enough in their upper body to hold onto a rope tow, or they're scared to death. They're too small to go on a chairlift.
Or you might be close to 50 years old and afraid to do the tow rope because it's just scary.
Yeah. Like we said, when we got rid of the tow rope, we were saving one glove at a time. Those things just eat gloves.
They do eat gloves.
They do. They're worse than your dryer or whatever.
But just call ahead and help. They'll help you plan your trip.
Yeah, and I can't emphasize, if you're planning on a trip, the farther ahead you can plan, the better off you'll be. And when you look at there and you think, hey, we'll decide what activities we're going to do when we get there, you've made a decision, and that is that you probably won't be doing any activities because they'll be booked.
Yeah, good advice.
And the thing that's really important, too, is to get your ski rental gear booked in advance, too. So you can book that with us in advance. It's just shoe size, height, and weight, so they can get the bindings properly fitted for you and stuff. But, and then there's, anywhere on the internet, obviously, especially for the kids, you can understand dressing for winter, and you want to do layering. You don't want to do cotton. You don't want to do jeans because snow sticks to it, and pretty soon you're a hot mess, or a cold mess, I should say. But yeah, that's a great question, John, and it's one that it's key to having a good time.
Yeah, proper equipment.
Yep.
I think about how I learned how to ski downriver in Detroit on Mount Trashmore, Riverview Highlands. It was actually a trash hill. And I skied in jeans and like a sateen jacket that had my dad's company named on the back. Right, classy, very classy. But what I've learned, downriver rat. But what I've learned is having the proper equipment suddenly makes the whole experience so much better. I remember the first time I bought goggles to wear on the ski hill. Right, like that's a game changer. And I thought, I don't need to spend $40 on this. Holy cow, what a difference that made, right?
It is, and it's funny too. We joke and say, hey, it's great you guys are making snow, even making it while people are skiing, and kind of in the back of our mind we're going, yeah, we got an extra supply of goggles, we got to get rid of them.
Insider information from Barry Owens at Treetops Resort. Well, Barry, we're going to have you join us again in a little while. We're going to talk about all the other events that you have going on here. John and I think, are going to take a run down the brand new Extreme Tubing Hill. I know. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. And then we're going to bring Barry back to talk about Taste of the Week. So you want to stay tuned to Behind the Mitten. Most folks know me by the way I leave. And I know them as good as they know me. I'm always turning a key while somebody's asleep. I don't mean no harm.
Welcome back to Behind the Mitten. God. Putting myself back together here, Amy.
Wait, that was a good time, wasn't it?
Okay.
I have to say that the extreme tubing at Treetops is one of the most exhilarating as well as slightly scary things you can do in Michigan. The first time I did it, I felt like I was like on a roller coaster. I was like, what just happened? Like, this is nuts. Like
things were shaking and moving around, right?
Very much so. But I'm so excited to welcome back to the show. He's been on many times before, Kevin McKinley, who is currently the assistant general manager here at Treetops. You guys have just added a whole nother extreme tubing hill. So now there's two. One you named directly after me.
That's right. And you didn't do that one today. You actually were able to experience the brand new one. But anybody that's listened to the show, that's been up at Treetops, that has been able to participate in extreme tubing knows how much fun it is. And so we've always called it extreme tubing. When there was only one hill, that's all we needed to call it. But we doubled the size this year, added that magic carpet that you were able to ride up and experience today, and cleared all the trees out on the right side. If you're looking down the hill on the right side there, and created kind of we call it Sidewinder, the brand new one. So we kind of created some bank turns there. Thunderstruck is that's your
Boomba.
theme. That's your theme. Still as exciting as it always has been, but a little bit more of a straight shot down the hill and kind of back up the other side to slow you down a little bit. But Sidewinder,
is that what that does?
It does. It slows you down and then it speeds you up coming back the other way a little bit. But Sidewinder is just as extreme. Just one of the things we obviously wanted to add a new experience, but we also had so many guests over the years come to Treetops and not be able to experience it because we were full all the time. I mean, and in 2020/2021 ski season, we sold that tubing at probably a 98% clip. And that's every single day of the winter.
Wow.
So we're able to double the capacity now, and more people can experience it over the holidays. Between Christmas and New Year, we had more than double the people that did it last year. We're able to do it this year. So we just wanted to be able to allow people the opportunity to be able to book it because, and don't get me wrong, don't think that just because I'm saying this and we doubled the capacity, it's easy. You're going to have no problem getting a time. You still have to book in advance, just like all of our other activities.
Now, Kevin, I'm just catching my breath still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wipe the tears off.
Oh
there,
my
Gonz.
gosh! Yeah. Okay, I'm back together now. I'm curious about the average age. Is it just young kids? Because I saw some families out there. What is this like? Just mainly for kids, adults, college kids?
It's really all over the map. It's just depends on your excitement threshold. Because it is exhilarating. I mean, there may be people listening that have tubed elsewhere, and it's okay. You don't get a whole lot of speed going. This is extreme tubing, and it's extreme tubing for a reason. But all ages can experience this. We do have a height 42 inches. You need to be taller than 42 inches, and that's just from a safety standpoint of being able to sit in a tube. And you have to sit in your own tube. There's no two people in one tube or anything like that. Now we can send multiple tubes down, but the kid has to be able to hold on to the handles and be able to kind of get out of the tube on his or her own. So there's on the short end there's a height limit, but as far as age goes, there really is no age limit. We've seen grandmas and grandpas experience tubing with their grandkids. Not a whole lot of athletic ability is needed. You sit in a tube, you go down. So all over the map, people can experience this.
Yeah, Amy looked at me when you said grandmas and grandpas.
Yeah.
Well, I have many comments to make about that. But if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Kevin McKinley, who's the assistant general manager at Treetops Resort. And yeah,